For years, Pokemon fans have been asking for a game that spans every region, a sentiment I share. One day, I decided to make it myself. I sat down, turned on my computer, and realized I have absolutely zero coding experience. So I twisted the idea a bit. What if after a gym, you were transported to the next mainline game in the series, starting at whatever gym that's equivalent to the one you just beat, with the exact same team you just had? With the newly released Scarlet and Violet, it's now possible to have an entire Pokemon adventure, including 8 badges and a champion, while traveling to all 9 mainline regions for each one. So that's exactly what I'm going to do in this video. If you don't know what a Nuzlocke is, here's a quick rundown of the rules I use. Starting off this Nuzlocke is Pokemon Blue. We start the same way every Pokemon adventure does. A strange old man asking me for my name. I tell him Yogurt, and then he asks for my rival's name. I decide on YouTube, who hasn't been very nice to me recently. Maybe if I can beat him, he'll give me the algorithm secrets. We leave our house and attempt to enter the grass when the old man from earlier stops us and drags us into his lab. I get the one and only starter choice I'll get in this Nuzlocke and decide on Squirtle, the best Kanto starter, and name him Dawn. I can't wait to see our starter Dawn fighting the champion, or even just a gym! We ventured forwards towards Viridian, do all the Oaks parcel stuff, and finally get our first encounter. Or not. I forgot this game doesn't give you balls right off the bat. False start, gotta buy some. Now that we're all stocked up, I catch a Rattata on Route 1 named Remy. On Route 22, I find a Nidoran male named King, and then we get a catching tutorial from an old dude, after already having 3 party members. On Route 2, I find a Caterpie named Arnold, and for our last encounter in Kanto, I get a Kakuna in Viridian Forest named Honey, the sponsor of today's video. I wish. Before trekking through Viridian Forest, I decide to grind up a bit. What's the worst that could happen? Well, at least it wasn't an important party member. I decided to give up on grinding and start fighting the trainers. First guy goes down easy, then we get to the second bug catcher, who, by the way, is completely optional. Dawn gets poisoned by his first Weedle, who we take down. He sends out a Kakuna next, who Arnold tackles to death. And Dawn goes back out for the last Weedle, when suddenly, the worst happens. I assumed at half health, Dawn could easily destroy a Weedle, even when poisoned. I was wrong. The Weedle survives on 1, and our starter dies before the first badge. We say our goodbyes, and lay him to rest with Remy. The rest of Viridian Forest goes perfectly fine, honestly. I make it to Pewter and walk up to the gym, before realizing I have 2 bug types and a Nidoran Pokemon normal type move. I head back into the forest to grind. Arnold evolves all the way to Butterfree and learns Confusion, and Honey evolves into Beedrill. I thought Nidoran learned Double Kick, but in Red and Blue he doesn't learn it until he's in his 40s! With our 2 useless Mons and a Butterfree with a single psychic move, I decide we're ready for the gym. We take out the 1 gym trainer with ease and move on to Brock, who goes down in 4 confusions. First badge obtained, we walk out of the gym and suddenly... It's Pokemon Crystal now. Our next destination is Azalea Town for our second badge. Before leaving Violet City, we grab a Pokemon egg. On Route 32, I catch an Ekans named Snake. Did you know that, like, Ekans backwards is Snake? It's because, like, Snake is like a snake, and then Ekans is, like, based off of a snake, so they just took Snake and they put it backwards, and his name is Ekans. Really fun fact, I bet you've never heard that one before. In Union Cave, we find a Sandshrew named Temple, and out of nowhere, our Togepi egg hatches. A complete surprise to me. I actually have no idea how I walked enough on 1 route to hatch the egg. We name it Omelet and exit the cave. We grab Gross the Hoppip and Fun Guy the Paris before talking to Kurt about the uniformed men standing in front of Slowpoke Well. We enter the well with him to try to stop them, and lose Sandshrew. Great. Not only do we lose Sandshrew, I also only realized about 3 generations later, I never caught a Slowpoke Well encounter. I walked through, ran into a Slowpoke that should have been my encounter, but I just killed it and kept going. We wipe out the Team Rocket grunts pretty easily, but before the gym, I decided to grind a bit in Islet. When suddenly I get jumped by YouTube. I was afraid of this fight. I remember it was sometimes challenging in Heart Gold Soul Silver, but he ended up just getting wiped pretty easily. We grind up our team with only King evolving. Entering the gym, I'm prepared for what could be a difficult fight, but King just sweeps everyone, not even losing 20 health to Bugsy. And exiting the gym, we suddenly appear in Pokemon Emerald. I check my pockets and notice the letter addressed to Steven Stone has appeared, so we go to deliver that. On our way, running into a strange man who talks a little bit too much about needing to piss to a random child. We enter Granite Cave and find a Zubat, naming it Wayne. I deliver the letter to Steven and then run into another strange man who won't stop talking about how nice his rod is. We fish in Dewford using the man's rod and find a Magikarp named Zakroski. We talk to Briny and he sails us to Slateport, where we beat up children and an evil team. No discrimination here. On Route 110, we catch an Electrike named Horse, the animal it was clearly designed to be. Then we run into May. Now YouTube, he's been easy so far. Not a difficult rival at all. May, on the other hand, ooh, boy! King takes down our Wingull with ease before she sends out a Pokemon whose name I just can't remember. Feel free to let me know in the comment. King takes it down to half before getting hit with an Ember that burns him, leaving him with 1 health. We quickly switch out to Omelette, who gets instantly hit with a Rock Throw, bringing him down to half. Omelette metronomes and gets Heal Bell. Great! Now King isn't burned. Doesn't fix the health issue though. He gets hit with a Yawn and we go for another metronome, knowing this is our last shot, as all of our team is just too underleveled or weak to this strange nameless creature's moveset. Omelette, the hero, whips out a Magnitude 7, killing it. Grovyle comes out as Omelette falls asleep. We attempt to switch out to Fun Guy when tragically, Grovyle hits Omelette with Pursuit, killing our baby. Fun Guy comes out, ready to avenge the fallen, when he also gets hit with a crit pursuit and also dies. Arnold comes out, puts the Grovyle to sleep, and whittles it down with Confusions, killing it. We mourn our losses and trek on. Arriving in Mauville, we head to Route 117 and catch an Oddish named Juan. We grind before the gym, Juan, Wayne, and Zakroski all evolving. As we try to enter the gym, some Make-A-Wish kid is sitting out front. We destroy him in 1 hit with Zakroski, easily solve the gym puzzle, and speak to Watson, the first difficult gym leader. He leads with Voltorb, and we lead with Horse. His Voltorb explodes turn 2, killing Horse. We send out Juan, who puts his Electrike to sleep and kills it with Absorbs. Magneton is next. Juan puts it to sleep, but not before being brought down to 4 health. We switch into King, who mud-slaps it to death, and brought into his last mon, Manectric. We get off 1 mud slap, lowering its accuracy before King is taken down by a shockwave. One of the 3 surviving members from Kanto, dead. Arnold comes out, knowing he must get revenge. Getting some lucky misses and a nice poison off, Arnold somehow manages to take down the Manectric, only getting hit once, but that 1 attack does almost kill him. 3rd badge down, end of the Game Boy games. Exiting the gym, we enter Pokemon Platinum. Now this was a decision I had to make. Platinum and Diamond Pearl have a different gym order, but I decided to go with Platinum because there's simply more to do between the 3rd and 4th gym in Platinum. We attempt to leave the city, but not before we get jumped by YouTube again. But he's just as easy as last time. We head to Route 209 and catch a Route. Routes alone isn't great, but if we can evolve it into a Gardevoir, ooh boy, we'll have a powerhouse in the team. It's already fucking dead. How the fuck did that happen? A Bibarel? Really? Damn, I'm just getting worse at this game as we go. Maybe I've just always been bad. We beat up a group of baby Pokemon before a Bonsly attempts to get revenge and nearly kills Wayne. Realizing I only have 4 Pokemon in my party and a bunch of useless Mons in the box, I grabbed the gift Eevee named Eva in Heart Home and beat up even more baby. Grabbing a Ghastly named Rick Ghastly in the Lost Tower, I now have a full team of Kanto Pokemon, 4 generations into this run. On Route 210, I grab a Ponyta named Dog, finally adding a much needed fire type to the team, who then instantly dies in its first battle against a Rapidash Ponyta. On Route 215, we catch a Staravia. Keen-eyed viewers might have noticed that at this point, we have 3 flying types on the team. 4 now that we've added Yaya Bird the Staravia. We fight trainers as we progress through the road, running into a Shieldon. Not a hard battle at all, just a very slow battle. It did nothing but spam Iron Defense while I absorbed it slowly to death. Juan only learning Mega Drain immediately after killing the Shieldon. Eventually we make it to what could be a challenging double battle. I do the smart move for the first time in this run and fight them separately. The first opponent, Gligar, goes down quickly to Juan, then the Drifbloom comes out. I send out Zakroski, who bites it to death, but because of Drifbloom's ability Aftermath, our Gyarados is brought down to 11 health. The second I see the Buizel appear, I know it's over for Zakroski. I say my goodbyes and attempt to switch, praying it doesn't do what I predicted, but it does, and Zakroski dies to a single pursuit. Juan gets revenge on the Buizel, and we fight the other trainer, who gets swept by Wayne. After the battle, both Wayne and Rick Ghastly evolve into Crobat and Haunter, respectively. Before I fight the 4th gym, I realize I have 2 more encounters I can grab. In Ruin Maniac Cave, I find a Geodude, who promptly explodes, nearly killing Wayne. But on Route 214, we find a Houndour named Cerberus, luckily another fire type to replace Dog. I enter the gym, decimate the Karate Quads with my 3 flying types, and walk up to Maylene. He leads with Meditite. I lead with Yaya Bird, who instantly gets taken out with a Rock Tomb and Drain Punch. Maybe I shouldn't have complained about too many flying types, as we've gone from 4 to 2 real fast. I send out Wayne, who kills the Machoke. Then she sends out her ace Lucario, who Wayne brings down to like 1 health, but is killed by a Melclaw, 4 to 1. Rick Ghastly comes out next and sucker punches Lucario, ending the fight. We're halfway done with the badges, and exiting the gym, we enter our last DS game. Pokemon White. Within seconds of being in this region, I get stopped by the cops for a strip search. But once that's done with, we grab a Minccino named Swiffer on Route 15. I talk to a strange lady and get shoved into a musical theater. I decide to give it a shot and send in my boy Arnold. We get him all dressed up, confident he'll be the star of the show. We give the best possible performance we can, and at the end, Rose's Scraggy is titled the lead of the show. Filled with rage, me and Arnold stare for hours at the image of the musical, Scraggy literally looking down on her. As we exit the theater, we awkwardly get caught up in some stranger's emotional drama. We silently sneak away and make it to Route 5, where Sharon grabs us and forces us to fight. Most of his team is easy, but Tranquil takes Swiffer down to red before Arnold comes in and wipes it out. Some dude who I'm pretty sure is on fire forces us to fight children, something he didn't even have to do, as I would have attacked them unprompted regardless. After all the forced battles, we finally get our encounter for the route, a Lipard named Greg, and out of nowhere, the content gods looked down upon me and gave me a shiny Solosis, who I aptly named Content. With our new shiny, I decide to return to the musical to show Rose's Scraggy who's boss, but she wasn't there. I didn't expect the hitman I hired to work that fast, honestly. We fight a couple trainers and Cerberus evolves into a Houndoom, who still hasn't learned a fire-type move. Elisa lowers the drawbridge, allowing us to get another encounter, Coldplay the Ducklet. Clay tells us that we let a bunch of evil dudes escape, so we completely ignore him and go catch 2 new Pokemon. DJ Khaled the Tranquil, replacing all the flying types we've lost, and Top Creamer the Vanillite. We find the evil dudes who've locked themselves in a freezer. Pretty sure they're trying to pull a Walt Disney, but not if we can say anything about it. And then a Scraggy comes out. Rage overtakes me and I beat it to death with my own hand. Sharon just stands there doing absolutely nothing while we fight every single grunt. Thanks, buddy. Couldn't have done it without you. Eventually, the leader shows up and arrests them, and we decide to grind before the gym. Cerberus finally learning a fire-type move at level 29, and Content learning his first psychic move at 25. We enter the gym, Juan and Coldplay sweeping everyone. We traverse the very dangerous landscape, but eventually make it to Clay, our 5th badge. He leads with the Krokorok, who's easily taken down by Coldplay. Excadrill is next, and Ducklet gets 1 shot. We send out Cerberus, praying he can take out the Excadrill in 1 hit with a Fire Fang, which the Chad does. Then Juan 1-shots his Palpitoad. And with that fight over, we finish all the 2D game. Exiting the gym, we feel our bodies transform, and suddenly, we're in Pokemon X. Knowing the next gym is Fairy, we had an old friend of the team, Snake. Walking into a cafe, we meet another man who I'm pretty sure is on fire, who hands us a rock shaped like king, and then just leaves without any explanation. We head to Route 14 to get our only Kalos encounter when we're jumped by another rival. I haven't played X and Y in years, so I completely forgot there was a rival battle here. I also forgot that it was 8 levels higher than my team. She leads with Meowstic as we lead with Snake, who isn't even a double-digit level yet. We quickly switch into Cerberus, who 1-shots it with a bite. Serena sends out Absol and I switch into Juan. Absol gets a lucky crit that scares me into switching into Arnold. It then proceeds to get 2 more critical hits, killing Arnold, the 4th of the OG5 dead. After that, I switch into Cerberus, who kills both Absol and her Delphox, ending the battle with only 1 death, but a pretty big one. We run into the grass for our encounter and out pops a Goomy, who we quickly catch and name the Goopster. We run into a random trainer who also has a Goomy, who nearly kills Cerberus. Luckily, Juan comes in and deals with it. But before I know it, we've already run into another random trainer. Juan doesn't get as lucky with this one, as Ghastly kills her with a Shadow Ball. Content, Top Creamer, and Snake all manage to evolve before the gym. And just to add insult to injury, I find a Leaf Stone, the exact stone I've been looking for to evolve Juan. I throw Snake at the front of the party, run onto every teleportation tile I see, find knockoff Sabrina, and start the 6th gym battle. She leads with Mawile, which forces me to switch into Cerberus, who kills it with a Fire Fang. She then switches into Mr. Mime, and we switch into Haunter for the kill. Finally, she ends with Sylveon as we switch back into Snake and Acid Spray it away. Another surprisingly easy gym fight. Hopefully the next game will be just as easy and won't kill everyone I know and love. We exit the gym and appear in Sunny Alola. Now some of you may be thinking, but Yogurt, there's no gyms in Alola. And while yes, technically there's no gyms or badges, excluding the one in Mali, there are exactly 8 trials in the Ultra games. So I'm just counting the 7th trial as the 7th badge. To start off our Alolan adventures, we get a good amount of new encounters.
Joe Biden.
The Gumshoos, Y the Finneon, Victim the Scraggy, Man the Ladian, and Birdemic the Furo. On our way through Po-Town, the Goopster and DJ Khaled evolve into Sliggoo and Unpheasant. I also messaged my uncle at Nintendo and he helped me evolve Rick Ghastly into a Gengar. Eventually I reach Guzma, the best team leader in Pokemon history. Fight me. We lead with DJ Khaled and he leads with Golisopod. Thanks to a lucky flinch, we're able to set off his ability without sustaining any damage. Next is his Masquerain, who nearly one-shots Khaled. I switch into Rick Ghastly, who thanks to his cursed body ability disabling Air Slash is able to survive enough turns to take out the Masquerain. I realize once the pincer comes out that I need a clean switch and make the tough decision to stack Rick Ghastly, praying he can at least outspeed and get a little bit of damage in, but he's taken out too quickly. Out next is Cerberus, who trades blows with Pinsir to the point where Pinsir kills Cerberus with the Storm Throw, but then is taken out thanks to Cerberus's Rocky Helmet, an item I picked up way back in Driftvale City. Finally, Golisopod is back out and one Air Slash from DJ Khaled is enough to finish the fight. The police come after me again, clearly jumping from region to region is not getting them off my tail, and ask me to visit the Aether House. However, I realize I've forgotten 2 encounters, so I quickly grab a Snorunt called Lil Chili from Mount Lanakila and a Pelipper named Slugon from Route 14. I add Victim to the team and he evolves into a Scrafty. I enter the Aether House and a man whose edge rivals that of Shadow the Hedgehog sprints at me full speed and challenges me to a battle. He leads with Golbat, I lead with Content. The Golbat goes down pretty easily and next out is Type Null. I switch to Victim, who very quickly lives up to his name, but he did get Null down to half, which is enough for DJ Khaled to come in and finish the job, thanks to somehow getting 2 flinches in a row. Last out is Zoroark and Khaled takes it out easily. I'm taken to the docks where the cop from earlier challenged me to a battle. I tell him fuck no and run away as fast as I can to fix up my team. I finally decide on what I want to evolve E-Boy into, and raise its affection until it evolves into a Sylveon. The fight against Nanu isn't difficult. E-Boy wipes out his Persian and Sableye. I do, however, have to sack Man in order to get a clean switch into the Goopster to take out the Crocorock. We take a boat to Aether Paradise to deal with some more drama that we have absolutely no part in. While there, Content finally evolves into Reuniclus.
Especially with Reuniclus, if you fucking know what a shiny Reuniclus looks like, I
do actually. I do know what a shiny Reuniclus looks like.
Eventually making it to Faba, who goes down pretty easily. He sends us to fight more waves of grunts who we don't even have much trouble with. Lily Chili managing to evolve into a Glalie during the battles. We head outside to find our old pal Guzma back again. E-Boy quickly takes out his Pinsir and newly added Vikavolt. Out comes the Masquerain, who I remember can hit surprisingly hard. I decided to sack someone in order to get a clean switch into Little Chili. I decide on Snake. He gets taken out and I switch into Glalie, who one-shots the Masquerain with Ice Fang. Finally, Golisopod comes out and DJ Khaled shows him a repeat of last time. In preparation for the next battle, I add an old friend to the team, Honey the Beedrill. We interrupt our second dramatic family moment of the run and get challenged by Luzamine. She leads with Clefable and I lead with Honey. After losing Snake, Honey is the only Mon we have that can quickly get rid of this Clefable. He hits it with 2 poison jabs, killing it. Out comes Beware and I say goodbye to the last Gen 1 Mon of the run. But surprisingly, Honey manages to outspeed the Beware and get off of Toxic Spikes before they die. A crucial move towards winning this battle. We send out E-Boy, who takes out the Beware, and next is Lilligant. The Goopster manages to take it down to half before needing to switch to DJ Khaled, who takes way more damage than I was expecting and dies. Lil Chili is out next and just protects for 1 turn while the Lilligant dies of poison. 4th is Lopunny and I just try to get as many Ice Fangs and Protects off as I can while I slowly whittle down its HP until it dies. Last is Milotic, and I once again decide I'm going to need a clean switch and I have to sack Lil Chili, who gets 1 Protect turn off before he dies. We send out Content, who brings it down to 1 HP and the Milotic dies to poison. Finally arriving on Pony Island, I have a ton of new encounters to replenish my slowly dwindling party. Grabbing Chris Pratt the Aerodactyl, Arceus Jr. the Grand Bull, K the NK, and Ballet the Whalmer. We watch as a child becomes protector of the island and are sent to Executor Island to get a flute that we won't ever use. While there, we grab Boeing the Tropius and take out the pincers bothering the trees. Easily dispatching of the Team Skull Grunts in the way, we grab a last encounter of Alola, Crunchy the Carbink, and continue through what is essentially this game's victory road. While fighting the trainers, the Goopster evolves into Goodra. Finally, we reach the trial. Arceus Jr. takes out the Jangmo-o and Hakamo'o with ease. But before we fight the totem, I decide to actually be smart for once. I put Bowing up front, hoping to bait the Noivern SOS instead of Scissor, since Noivern has super effective moves against Bowing while Scissor does not. Noivern will be better for us, as it can't do much against our two fairy types, who I'm mainly relying on to win the fight. I have no idea if this is actually how SOS trial battles work, but the Noivern did show up! I sack Bowing for the clean switch into Arceus Jr., who gets off an Intimidate, reverting the totem attack buff it got. Arceus Jr. tanks a Poison Jab, but only deals half of Komoo's health with a Rough Play because of a berry that lessens damage from super effective fairy attacks. Arceus Jr. goes down and I switch into E-Boy, who easily destroys both Komoo and Noivern without even breaking a sweat. Exiting the gym, we lose our second screen and appear in Galar, Gen 8. This is probably the shortest game we have, as the next gym is a 2-minute walk away. We do, however, have some sad news. In Gen 8, there was a Dex cut, and while DLC did bring a lot of Pokemon back, many are still missing, meaning we lost Y, Gross, Joel, Biden, and Birdemic. Not very important mons. Honestly, looking at them now, the Dex cut can keep them. I decided to grab my 3 encounters I gave myself for Galar. A Berserker named Ragnar on Route 9, a Carablast named Boy on Route 7, and a Dugtrio named Pickle Ricks from Lake of Outrage. We head into Raihan's gym and the duo of the Goopster and Content wipe out all 3 of his gym trainers. We challenge Raihan. He leads with Flygon and Gigalith. We lead with the Goopster and Content again. The Goopster quickly eliminates his Flygon while Content tries to whittle down the Gigalith. Out next is Sandaconda, and this is a perfect position for the Goopster as it knows Muddy Water, a move that damages both opponents. I also switched Content out for Pickle Ricks. The Goopster nearly kills the 2 opponents, but they both survive on a sliver. Pickle Ricks manages to outspeed them and finishes them off with an Earthquake the next turn. Lastly, Ryan sends out his lone Duraludon. He Gigantamaxes it, and I Dynamax Pickle Rick, who easily tear through him. Surprisingly, the last gym was one of the easiest. Most likely because I was over-leveled due to Komoo actually being a higher level than Raihan. We exit the gym and move on to our final game. Pokemon Violet, the most recent game and the most tricky for encounter. For Sword, I was just using the grass exclamation point encounter, but Violet only has overworld encounters. I decided I just have to catch the first thing I see in each area. I grabbed Lil Guy the Citadel, Queen the Vespiquen, Cracker the Luxray, Bonesaw the Hawlucha, Vulton the Veluza, and Hee Hee Funny the Swalot. A lot of those aforementioned Pokemon will also sadly be replacing team members who were lost in yet another Dex cut, being Content, Ragnar, Greg, Swiffer, Mk, Ballet, Boy, and Chris Pratt. Yeah, we lost our shiny. No cool final death or sacrifice, just vanished into thin air. I do the last bit of leveling up I can and assemble my final squad. E-Boy the Sylveon, who's been with us since Gen 4. The Goopster the Goodra, who's been carrying the run since we got it. Pickle Ricks, a new member who proved himself in the Raihan fight. And our 3 newest additions, Cracker, Bonesaw, and Vulton. We enter the Pokemon League and are forced to do a test where I just guess every question and ace it. The first Elite Four member I have to fight is Rika, a ground trainer. She leads with Whiscash, who E-Boy takes out easily with a couple Moonblasts. Next up is Camerupt. I'm afraid of being hit with an Earthquake on the switch, so I pivot into Hawlucha and get hit with a Yawn. Knowing it won't go for Earthquake, I feel safe switching into Vulton, who terrestrializes and sweeps the Camerupt, Dugtrio, and Donphan. Last up is Clodsire, who Vulton nearly takes out with a Terra boosted Liquidation, but it just barely survives. But Yogurt, Clodsire has Water Absorb. How did you hit it with Liquidation? Vulton has Mold Breaker, an ability that allows it to just ignore other abilities like Water Absorb. Sadly, however, Vulton proceeds to be taken out, and I have to send out E-Boy, who finishes it off and allows us to fight the next Elite Four member, Poppy. I heal up the team and put Pickle Ricks up front. Poppy leads with Copperaja and gets one-shot by an Earthquake. Out next is Corviknight. I switch into Cracker as it goes for 2 Iron Defenses in a row, allowing me to get off a Thunder Wave, slowing it down. Knowing Cracker can't do much anymore thanks to the +4 defense boost it now has, I Volt switch into the Goopster, who manages to take it down with a Dragon Pulse. Third is Bronzong, who I kill with Crunches from Cracker. Fourth is Magnezone, and I switch into Bonesaw, allowing me to bait an electric move and get a clean switch into Pickle Ricks, who one-shots the Magnezone with an Earthquake. Last out is Tinkatuff, who terrestrializes and one-shots Pickle Ricks with its insane move Gigaton Hammer. Like, this move is just absolutely busted. 160 base power, 100% accuracy, and then you add the Terra boost on top of that? I don't think anyone on my team could survive it. Praying I can outspeed, I send out the Goopster, who pulls it off and finishes our battle against Poppy. Through the doors steps the coolest character in Scarlet and Violet, Larry. I lead with Bonesaw, who takes out his Tropius. Next to Staraptor, who I know is about to hit me with a top-tier Brave Bird, so I just say goodbye and sack Bonesaw for a clean switch into Cracker. Cracker gets hit with a close combat, but manages to take it out. He follows up with Altaria and Oricorio, both of which get destroyed by E-Boy's Moonblast. His last Mon comes out. Flamigo. He terrestrializes and takes out a boy, our second strongest team member, and main counter to the next Elite Four member. Dead. I frantically switch into Cracker, hoping to outspeed, but I don't. Cracker is also killed. Finally, we send out our last surviving member, the Goopster, who by sheer skill manages to take out the Flamigo. Hassel walks through the doors, a Dragon-type Elite Four member, and all I had left was the Goopster, who's weak to Dragon. I knew the run was most likely over. I went in hoping for at least one kill. I wanted a positive KD, but then this happened. The Goopster had single-handedly wiped out 4 of his 5 Pokemon without breaking a sweat. The Goopster faces down the final opponent, Baxcalibur, who is also terrestrialized. It's silent. All hope is lost. But then, the Goopster moves first. I see the health lowering, getting lower, and lower, and lower, when suddenly, it stops. Baxcalibur survived in the red. Hassel hits us with the worst pun I've ever heard, and as I watched Baxcalibur shove its blade into the Goopster, all I could think about was the members who'd brought us to this point. All the things I could have done differently. What if I didn't lose our starter to a random bug catcher? What if I didn't instantly kill both Ponyta and Ralts? What if the Goopster was just a single level higher? Could it have killed Baxcalibur? But then I think to all the insane moments of the run. Honey the Beedrill killing 3 of Luzamine's team members. Finding a random shiny. The Goopster outspeeding literally everyone in its path. All the misses and flinches that saved our lives. And I ultimately decided that this run was good enough. I might not have even fought the champion, but the memories and friends I made along the way were enough. But mainly just fuck doing all the setup for this again. Holy shit, that took forever. Hey, thanks for making it this far. This is a really new type of content for me, but I enjoyed making it, so I'm definitely going to do it again. I've got a couple more ideas for out-of-the-box Nuzlocks, so definitely subscribe if you want to see more. Might even have a follow-up to this video in the works,